Dilse, and you're tuned in to Let's Talk, the platform and understanding what goes on in this world, why it goes on in this world, the problems that you face. We're here to listen. I'm here to listen to them. I'm here to take your views. I'm here to discuss with you. Some of you have probably just joined me, maybe for the first time, because you're usually working. I assure you, after you hear this show, you'll either want to stop working or bring your radio to work with you, because the biggest saying on this show is, don't eat your lunch, eat your words. Let's get going, shall we? There's so much to discuss. One of the key things that's been going on at the moment is laser eye surgery. Yeah, it's a great idea on the face of it, on the sound of it. It's brilliant. You don't need to use your glasses anymore. You don't need to have things done. What is it? One pair of glasses for driving, one pair of glasses to see in the distance or anything like that. You don't have to look around for something, wake up in the morning and see blurred vision. Nope, that can all be corrected in just a few pounds from the local high street shop optician. In just a few pounds you can get your eyes examined, and in a few more pounds you can actually get the operation done. And bingo, it's done. You don't need to use your glasses anymore. You don't have a problem. Everything is fine. But it doesn't always work out like that, does it? Everybody's eyes are different. Everybody's body is different. But the way sometimes this stuff is advertised, it really does make you think. You know, I look at the Bollywood films and I see to myself, oh, wow, can't I look like a Bollywood film star? I don't need glasses. I can look macho. I can look this. I see certain people in Hollywood even, actresses coming up to us saying, I want to look like this. I want to look like that. And so you can have this corrective surgery and you can look like this or like that or like them or like her. But sometimes that doesn't work out, because Sasha Rodoy had discovered that when she was unfortunately experiencing a very devastating result of laser eye surgery in 2011. She also discovered that after having the laser eye surgery done, there's no government regulation of the refractive eye surgery industry, which includes lens exchange surgery as well as laser. Now, you might think, what are you saying? What's that got to do with anything? But it does, doesn't it? Because you use your eyes to see. Your eyes are one of the most precious commodities going. And once they are, shall I use the word, tampered with or operated on, it's very hard to get back that vision again. And yet we all like to perhaps want to be able to throw our glasses away. A lot of women feel, for cosmetic reasons even, well, if I don't have to wear lenses again, that'll be great. But since January 2012, Sasha has worked with the MP John MacDonald, now Shadow Chancellor, and has campaigned for government regulation. She's also a patient advocate, advising and helping thousands of others who got damaged by unregulated eye surgery. And many a time, people have actually, or even organisations have actually threatened her and said, look, this is ridiculous. You can't say this about our surgery because of this. You can't say that about our surgery because of this. And at the end of the day, we're very powerful people, and if you keep saying this sort of thing, we're going to really get upset with you. So they started offering enormous amounts of money to sort of run away and join the circus. They started offering her money to just keep quiet, but she wasn't having any of it, because she says that the problems faced by patients can be the same anywhere in the world. She's even been to India and actually seen where dust in people's eyes have actually almost ruined the eyes because of the surgery. And it's difficult enough dealing with problems in the UK, but again, in India and in South Asia, sadly, little more can be done to help. Why? Because again, it's a question of money. So I spoke to Sasha, and I've got her now on the line to discuss this a little bit more. Sasha, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dee.
Thank you very much for coming on to Dilse. I'm going to get straight to the point because already my phones are beginning to flash here. Can you firstly explain to me what happened to you in order to prompt you to set up a website about dangers of eye surgery?
Well, after my surgery, I was left with debilitating effects, which I can talk about later. Over the past 5 years, they've got even worse. But after my surgery, I complained to the company who damaged my eyes, to the owner, and I was told I was a rare case. But a little bit of research on the internet, it took a long time, it wasn't overnight, and I discovered that, in fact, I am far from a rare case. And I spoke to other people, as I said, lots and lots of obsessive research. And 5 years on, I believe there is probably as high as 30 to 40%, maybe even more, who are damaged by refractive eye surgery. Now, the industry will be the first ones to go, oh, no, she's talking nonsense. Well, they haven't got any statistics to support their claim of 99%. However, in Japan, a study, I think it was last year, they actually came up with the 40% for Japan. So I think we're pretty close with 30-40%.
Just to go, before I go further, I did actually try contacting some of the high street stores who I won't mention, but they said they really didn't want to get involved. And now when you've just said that, I can sort of see their point of view as well. But do you feel, moving on from that regulation for corrective eye surgery will help people? And if you do think so, how do you believe that regulation will help the problem?
Regulation is desperately needed because in the high street clinics especially, I mean, there are reputable surgeons around, although personally I don't advise this surgery at all, knowing what I know. But the high street clinics, they self-regulate. Now, the government is so far as turning a blind eye, excuse the pun, and they say the CQC, the GMC, the Royal College of Ophthalmologists are all there to regulate. None of them are, and they pass the buck. There is no regulation worth anything. People, when they're damaged, they have got no one to turn to, bar me, which is, no pressure there. And the government, if they regulate, then rules will be brought in and the companies will have to abide by them. This means that a lot of the things that are going on won't be allowed. For instance, let me tell you, surgeons are under pressure to meet targets. In the two biggest providers, the two main companies, when they reach a certain target, let's say they've operated on, I forget the exact stats, but let's say 12 patients, they then get an increase in their commission. And they're operating on as many as 26, 27 patients a day.
Now, look, let's get to a little bit of a different slant. I'm going to spin this because I commend you for challenging some of these very well-known high street chains. But surely some of these chains or stores, as they're also known as, they are also known as the words the big boys. Surely they would have been much more careful in their research and their methods of surgery before performing them on people such as yourself, or customers that are coming off the street. They're not going to be that silly with their risks, are they?
Okay.
I mean, okay, not the word silly. Let's turn that word around and say that lapse with their risks.
You've hit the nail on the head for me. Let's get straight in there. The main providers are owned by businessmen. These businessmen are not optometrists or ophthalmologists. And for listeners who don't understand the difference, an optometrist is someone who tests your eyes and gives you the prescription. The ophthalmologist is a surgeon who operates. Now, the owners of these companies are businessmen. They couldn't care less what happens to their patients at the end of the day. Let me give you an example. If they say their turnover is £10 million, say they have to pay out £1 million in damages to patients, they've still got £9 million. Right, that's a very loose example, but the businessmen don't care. It's all about profit. It's all about money. Now, bear in mind that my website, which, am I allowed to mention my website?
Yeah, go ahead, give it a quick plug.
My website is Optical Express Ruined My Life. Now, anybody who goes and has a look at that, if you doubt anything I say or anything that is written on that website, ask yourself why I'm still standing, why I haven't been sued for libel and or slander.
Right, now that's it. I'm going to stop you there and ask you, why haven't you been sued? Why haven't you been spoken about for slander? Tell me straightforwardly.
Because everything I say and publish is true and factual. Now, Optical Express spent over £1 million trying to get my website down via Nominet. Again, for listeners who don't know what that is, Nominet control all domain names. Now, they spent over £1 million and lost spectacularly. But sue me. It would cost a few £1,000s to sue me if I were lying. Again, go to my website and check it for yourself, people, and go ask Optical Express, why haven't they sued me? Go on.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt because I have to play a bit of devil's advocate here. Am I correct in thinking that you were awarded costs by some of these people at an undisclosed sum anyway?
My surgery, which Optical Express are always very quick to point out, was done by their main competitor. Now, I signed, like many other people, I signed an agreement for compensation which included a gagging order. A gagging order means you're not allowed to talk about the company who's damaged your eyes. However, the owner of the company who damaged my eyes is in breach of the agreement, so he's actually brought it into the public arena. We've already had four court hearings. We've got more to come. Now, I'm not going to risk breaching my agreement at this stage, but go Google Sasha Rodoy and go to YouTube, put in Sasha Rodoy, and the name of the company who damaged my eyes will come up. Of course, you're free to say it, Deep.
Yeah, I'd rather not just yet, just at the minute. Okay. But the point I'm trying to make here, I'm still trying to get down to, I'm still trying to drill down, because at Dilse, which literally means speak from the heart, we really get down to the nitty-gritty. Pardon me on this one, but if you've been if you've been awarded, I guess you call it damages or compensation for the situation that's gone on, surely that is in effect accepting that there was something went wrong, and you're happy to say, well, it's gone wrong. I've been given this as a compensation. That's the end of it. Why then turn the key and keep creating campaigns?
I'm not interested in money. I mean, I've been offered huge amounts of money since my compensation payout, but my life now is spent as patient advocate and campaigner. Nobody screws out my eyes and gets away with it, and I cannot stand by and watch these companies, phone off, and watch these companies damage other people's eyes. And we're talking about tens of thousands of eyes, if not people, over the years. It's got to stop.
Okay, so moving on from that, because you've mentioned three things that are very important there. A website that's almost using a high street store name, saying it's ruined your life. You've explained to me that there are targets involved in these sorts of situations, and then you've moved on and said it's businessmen that don't really care. But what I want to therefore know is if corrective eye surgery is, as in your words, tempting to get done, why then has the GMC or perhaps even the greater GMA even and other medical, BMA even, or other medical authorities not wanted to get involved in this and stop it? Why are they, and I'll use your words, why are they on a gagging order, let's put it that way? Why are they quiet?
Because, again, it comes down to money. Now, I'm going to give you a very clear example, which hopefully will explain the whole situation. The GMC and the Royal College of Ophthalmologists are funded by their members who are surgeons. Now, I was recently appointed, last year, I joined the lay advisory group with the Royal College of Ophthalmologists because they had formed a panel, were forming a panel called the Refractive Surgery Standards Working Group to revise the guidelines, which is something John McDonnell and I have been fighting to be called in as regulation. Anyway, I was immediately appointed to this working group, sitting alongside 5 surgeons to write, as lay advisor representative, to rewrite these guidelines. Now, a complaint. David Moulsdale is the owner of Optical Express. He's a businessman from Glasgow. He complained to the Royal College. Now, as I said before, he is neither optometrist nor ophthalmologist. He complained to the Royal College. I was removed from the working group. Now, thanks to subject access requests, I was provided with a bunch of emails that were beyond shocking. It showed collusion between the college, between surgeons, one of them with the NHS, and David Moulsdale, corrupt businessmen. Now, that is why the CQC, the GMC, the Royal College, and the rest of them are ignoring this problem. The government is fully aware of what is going on. And I've got letters sitting on my desk in front of me from Jeremy Hunt, from Ben Gummer. They come out with the same nonsense saying that the CQC, the GMC, the Royal College are controlling this. They're not. Nobody is taking responsibility. And to go back to your original question, the reason is it all comes down to money.
So in your opinion, is laser or LASIK eye surgery better for a person to have? Or would you even say no, just don't get it done?
Personally, okay, I believe in freedom of choice, but for me, if you sat in my chair for even a day, you wouldn't go near this surgery. And again, as you've already said, this includes lens exchange. Lens exchange is actually cataract surgery being sold to people who only need reading glasses and being told, oh, have your lenses out, we're putting fake lenses and you won't need reading glasses. There's the huge investigation at the moment into something called the M+X lens. But this surgery, I personally don't believe anybody should have it unless it is the only option to going blind or if you have cataracts. Now, having said that, there are people who go, well, I don't care about the risks. Now, as long as people are fully informed, told about the risks, then fine. If anything goes wrong, they made that choice. But don't go to the high street. Go to a reputable surgeon. Go to somebody who will meet you before the surgery, during the surgery, after the surgery. Not a surgeon who's got no time, who's in a hurry and looks at his watch and just says, yeah, your eyes are very nice for this treatment, as the surgeon said to me. Look what happened to me. I now wear 3 pairs of glasses. I have all kinds of side effects, and my eyes are destroyed.
So since this unfortunate incident, you've also started to work with people and charities in India, from what I can tell. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the relationship has been between having your eye surgery and the involvement in India?
Well, I've been contacted by people from all over the world, and a few years ago, people started contacting me from India. And as I was in India last December, I managed to meet with some of them. Now, the problem in India is there's very little I can do to help them, and a lot of people are scared. They won't speak out about the problems. When I've said to them, look, talk to this person, go to your, I'm not sure what MPs are called in India, but they don't want to upset their families. They're worried how their friends might judge them. And also, the bigger problem is that having retreatment or help, it's to get retreatment. Some have been able to come over to the UK, but there are many who just don't have the money, and they're left to live with this outcome. Now, one thing I realised last year, I have something called meibomian gland dysfunction, MGD, which is a result of surgery, as do a high percentage of damaged patients. This is blocked glands, which causes chronic and painful dry eyes. And in Delhi, I was there for only 2 days, and the dust and dirt had exacerbated my MGD so that I just wanted to rip my eyes out with the pain, the irritation, itching. My eyes were swollen, they were red. I was needing to steam them 4 times a day and use countless eye drops. Now, in America, there have been recorded cases of suicide due to the pain of severe dry eyes, which can't be cured. And I appreciated it. If I was in Delhi or other parts of India where with the same environment, I doubt I could have gone on suffering that way. And that's no exaggeration. And another thing, I spoke to one man, I think it was just over a year ago. He's a commercial pilot in India. He suffers with what's called starburst, which is it's a very common side effect after eye surgery. It's light distortion causing a firework effect when you look at street lights or car headlights.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Right. Well, can you imagine what airline pilots are seeing? Now, he's still flying. Last time I spoke to him, whereas in the UK I've got 3 clients, and when I say clients, I offer a free service. But my clients, there are 2 who are now in litigation. They were all pilots. All 3 retired from flying because they didn't feel safe to do so. One only in his early 30s. Now, this is a major, major problem, and the government are ignoring it and allowing it to continue.
And that's my point. I've got to hurry you, sorry, because there's a couple of quick more questions here. What you mentioned earlier that you have John MacDonald, the Shadow Chancellor, on your side. What has the response been like from Downing Street, for example?
Well, John has written, called, spoken to Jeremy Hunt, his predecessors. They keep coming back with the same old nonsense. Now, I had was supposed to meet with Daniel Poulter, who was Ben Gummer's predecessor as the health minister. He cancelled 3 appointments with me. He agreed to meet with me and John, I think it was 2 years ago, I've lost track. At the last minute, John's office was told I wasn't allowed to attend. It was as a civilian civilian. Absolute nonsense. However, we're still battling away. I'm meeting with John in 2 weeks' time. I think it's 2 weeks, and we've got other issues to discuss around this area, this scandal, in fact. But there's one other thing I'd like to say, Dee.
Of course.
That it's bad enough that you've got I can't think of the word I want, surgeons who have sold their soul to the devil. But when you've got a man who's not even a surgeon, and as I've said, the reason nobody sues me is because everything I say is true. Now, there is one man who owns clinics in Birmingham and London.
Don't say his name. Do me a favour. Unless
Okay. He is Indian. He's operated in India. He's been operating for the last 15 years. Now, he is not a surgeon. Now, anybody who's had surgery, and I won't say his name as you've just asked me not to, but anybody who's been operated at a clinic in Birmingham or Fulham, please contact me, whether you had successful surgery or not. If it was an Indian surgeon, please contact me. The police are involved in this. It's a massive, massive scandal within a scandal. And again, the government and the GMC, the Royal College, they're all sweeping it under
Are
the
you
carpet.
saying that Indian surgeon, whoever he or she may be, I don't want to get into the name at the minute because I can't. It's not fair if they haven't got I need to balance the argument. Are you saying they are? Are you saying that they are, or he or whoever that surgeon is not doing a good job or doing a good job? What are you saying?
What I'm saying is he's operating illegally.
Illegal. So he's doing a bad job, dangerous thing. You can't do anything.
He's doing a very dangerous thing. He's not trained. He's also got surgeons who are registered with the GMC and the Royal College signing off his operations. Now, again, this is all fact. And anybody who wants to contact me via my website, I will tell you his name.
Right, last but not least, because my phones are going crazy, everyone wants to get a word in edgeways on this, I'm sure, because and I think this is the most important point on this. What advice would you give to anybody who is perhaps contemplating on having eye surgery, or B, has suffered from side effects of the surgery? What would you say to them?
Firstly, anybody who's suffered from side effects, please contact me. I'll do what I can to help, which isn't always anything other than taking legal action, but I can offer the benefit of my experience. Regarding people who are considering having surgery, then I would suggest that they're very, very careful. Stay away, please stay away from the high street clinics. With any luck, thanks to my endeavours, they're not going to be in business much longer.
As compared to surgeons are you saying that going to a not normal, but a surgeon, as compared to, say, a high street person, is okay then?
I will never say that, because I know of surgeons, and again, I won't get you in trouble here. I know of surgeons who are at Moorfields and various other places, and I'm talking about Moorfields Private, not Moorfields NHS, who also have been sued, have damaged people's eyes. There are no guarantees, and, when you can find a surgeon who will give you a written guarantee saying 100% you'll have no problems, you won't need anything doing after, everything will be hunky-dory, fine, introduce me, I'll let him touch my eyes again. But until that happens, I would not risk it. And anybody, again, who wants any advice, please do contact me. I'm very happy to help.
Just plug your website one more time.
Okay, my website is opticalexpressruinedmylife.co.uk, and to contact me, you can just send an email to info@opticalexpressruinedmylife.co.uk. Google my name, Sasha Rodoy. I'm all over the internet. Look at the stories on YouTube. And again, I ask everybody, if you doubt anything I say, why am I still standing? And before you get inundated with phone calls, you will, of course, have loads of people saying, oh, my eyes are fantastic, wonderful. Yes, but you only ever hear the good stories. Until I came along, you could not find negative stories on the internet.
Very, very good point. Sasha, on that note, I've actually overshot everything, so it'd be lovely. It's been great speaking to you, Sasha Rodoy. Thank you for coming on to Dilse. Thank you for explaining the problems that go on with eyes. And I think thanks again for explaining one more important point, which is what one can do if they've had these kinds of problems. Because I think one of the key problems that you have here is that people just don't know where to turn to. Thank you very, very much indeed.
My pleasure.
All the best. Bye-bye now. Okay, I've got an all-important question for you after the gold rate and the commercial break. My name is Deep Raja. This is Dilse. You're tuned into Let's Talk. The session and the platform that's really going to tell it like it is. Now, I want you to tell me like it is through your eyes.
The Gold Rate on Dilse is brought to you by Pooja Sweets and Savouries. PoojaSweets.com, one of the best quality vegetarian food suppliers for any occasion.
And looking at the gold rate today per gram in pounds, it's 27.642, and in dollars, it's 39.142.
The Gold Rate on Dilse was brought to you by PoojaSweets.com. Order online or visit us in Tooting, Kingsbury and Cardiff. Call us now on 0208 672 4523.
Himalaya Carpets में Easter Special Sale is on. All carpets, wood flooring and furniture पर up to 50% off. Plus Crown Royal Underlay worth $8.99 square meter free with all fitted carpets. तो जल्द आइए. Himalaya Carpets, Slough, Hounslow and Southall. Open 7 days. Visit him.
Who explained about a doctor, and I'm not going to give you his name because it's not fair if he's not here, about how dangerous he has been. Now, immediately, somebody's just called me up. His name's Michael, and he said, I was actually operated by that doctor, so I'm going to take him straight on air and talk to me. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming on to Dilse. Now, tell me, do you want to tell me your story? What's happened exactly?
Am I allowed to mention this man's name?
Please don't mention his name. I think that's better not to.
Okay. All right. Well, I had first laser eye surgeries in December 2000 with a clinic that caused me to have vision problems. I can't mention them because I did get a very small settlement from them with a gagging order. But I went to this second company in 2006, which is run by this Indian man, and I went there for help with my vision problems, starburst, ghosting, etc. Anyway, I saw the optometrist who examined my eyes, and then we went into a room. He said, we'll go and see the surgeon. He didn't say one of our surgeons, he said the surgeon. And this man was an Indian gentleman, about 6 foot tall, medium to sort of well-built, dark hair with a trimmed goatee beard. And he looked at my eyes and data and said, the problem is your brain's forgotten what good quality vision is. We'll do both eyes and we'll, do new operations, cutting new LASIK flaps. And he gave no word of caution whatsoever. So I went ahead with the operations, and the operations actually didn't help my vision at all. And what I found out later from subsequently seeing expert top-level surgeons in London is that the operations were completely and utterly wrong and had no chance of improving my vision. And the operations, because he cut a second LASIK flap in each eye, they've left me with a greater chance of suffering from corneal ectasia, where the cornea can bulge out forward because the eye has been weakened by having a second LASIK flap cut. Anyway, the person who is on my medical notes as being my surgeon, is actually an Englishman who I didn't even know what he looked like until after contacting Sasha Rodoy in 2011 for help. It was 2012, and I'd mentioned the name of the surgeon who's on my notes and the description of the man who actually operated on me. And, I hadn't put two and two together. And Sasha Rodoy Googled the name of the surgeon who's actually on my medical notes, and he's an Englishman with an Oxbridge accent. He's an Englishman. So I was actually operated on. I thought the name of this Indian man was this, this English surgeon's name.
Yeah.
So, and it was only once I contacted Sasha Rodoy, and it was into 2012, and I found out that, I'd been operated on by this man.
So how are your eyes now? How is your vision now?
I've got ghosting, starbursts, poor night vision, halos, and these are incurable. There's no cure. I can't get any cure for them. What this man did by operating where he did, cutting a second LASIK flap, it meant that the original LASIK flaps where the problems were can't be lifted and smoothed back down because it would just be too risky, which is what I was told by an expert surgeon in London. It's just too risky to touch my eye. So I'm left with these problems. I can see 20/20 in daylight, in good, bright lit conditions in a supermarket or in sunshine. But at night, my vision quality is no good at all. It's not very good at all. And there's no way, with all I know about these operations now, to be honest, I wouldn't have had surgery with any surgeon, I must admit. But as I say, thanks to the help of Sasha Rodoy, I have found out that this man, operated on me. We actually had a meeting at this clinic in London in, I think it was 2013, early 2013. And this is the first time I've met this man, the clinic owner, since the operation. He actually, one of my initial follow-ups in 2006.
Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do, Michael. I'm going to interrupt you because your line is going pretty bad. But absolutely fine. You've made a very, very good point that has happened, and thanks to Sasha that's actually changed. And thank you for calling up. I'm going to give you a question here. Call me on 0207 501 1540. This is my question. Firstly, have you or anyone in your family ever had corrective eye surgery? And if so, how or what was your experience from it? Secondly, have you ever had corrective eye surgery? And if so, did anything actually go wrong? How did you overcome this? And also, what I'd like to know is, do you believe that laser eye surgery and also the ability of high street shops to promote it and provide it, would you therefore use them? Would you go and get eye surgery done, your own eyes changed from being a glasses wearer to a non-glasses, quote-unquote, 20/20 vision, I think they call it, would you be prepared to go to a high street shop and get that done? Call me now, 0207 501 1540, and tell me what your experiences are when it comes to laser eye surgery, whether you even contemplated it, and also whether you'd actually go to a high street shop. I'm not saying they're good, I'm not saying they're bad, I don't know, so I'm asking you directly, because one of the key things that you've got to remember here, when it comes to the Asian community as well, there's this thing, I'm going to sound a little bit sexist, but it's a fact. A lot of families, when they're saying, oh, we want to find a decent boy for our girl or a decent girl for our boy, all this sort of thing, they say, oh, you must look pretty. And I remember that I've actually heard of cases where people have said, if you don't wear glasses, they say this to their daughters, don't wear glasses, it makes you look, square or intelligent, and you're not meant to look like, you're meant to look pretty, you're meant to, who will take you on? And I know it's a pathetic thing to say, but I've actually heard it in society. So then people do get that, I wouldn't say desperate, but they get, they want to look for something to do in order to sort this out. Now, if, for example, someone's offering you the same thing, i.e. corrective eye surgery for, I don't know, £100, as compared to, say, a Harley Street surgeon, which will offer it for £5,000, the chances are you're going to go for the £100. But if it goes wrong, it's almost worse, isn't it? So has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been in a situation where you've gone out there and had corrective eye surgery and it didn't work? Have you ever been out there and got it done and you're happy to ring me up and say, that's absolutely fine, I'm really pleased with it? I don't know what everybody's talking about. And also, the question here is, how far, I'll turn this, how far would you go in order to get your eyes lasered? How far would you go? What would you do? Would you be prepared to spend thousands and thousands in, say, London's Harley Street, or would you just go down the road to a local high street shop, given that they're tempting you? It's a little bit like buying I wouldn't say buying a car, but it is a sort of commodity in a way, isn't it? 0207 501 1540. And just to add a little bit of a spin on this again, do you think we're heading towards this, an American style of medicine in this country where you can literally buy operations off the shelf? My name is Deep Raja, this is Dilse, and I'll talk to you all on 0207 501 1540 after the traffic and travel update. Good afternoon, it's Deep Raja, this is Dilse, and you're tuned into a bank holiday edition of Let's Talk, which allows you to tell it like it is. So earlier earlier on I was talking to Sasha Rodoy about corrective eye surgery and how sometimes the dangers of corrective eye surgery can be so serious that you can even lose your vision or never really get back the same vision you wanted earlier on or expected to get in the first place. So I'm asking you on 0207 501 1540, have you or anyone in your family ever had corrective eye surgery? And if so, what was your experience? Did you find it okay? Did you find it bad? Did you end up spending too much money or maybe too little money to sort it out? What happened? And have you ever had corrective eye surgery and it went wrong? And if it went wrong, how seriously wrong did it go? Did you end up having to go back for operation after operation or examination after examination? Whatever happened, give me a call. And also, one of the key things is, do you believe that laser eye surgery should be offered by shops like in America? I think it is. That's what's happening. We're getting into this American style where you can just sort of buy an operation off the shelf. Or do you think really that we need to actually regulate these sorts of situations more and these procedures more? They should be more regulated and more interesting. Because let's face it, a lot of the Asian community, we do take a lot of interest in our health. We take a lot of interest in what goes on, and especially when it comes to like Hollywood and Bollywood films and you know, trying to really create these dramatic scenes and things that go on that look beautiful. I'm sure some of you out there have had that eye surgery. So can you call me on 0207 501 1540 and tell me your experiences of eye surgery and what happened? Just to let you know, the gentleman who called earlier, Michael, phoned back and said he wanted to make one point clear, which I can understand. He said some of these surgeries that this particular Asian doctor had given in Birmingham, who was apparently illegal, is illegal. The surgeries that were performed were illegal. All eye surgery in that sense was illegal. So in effect, he was actually doing something illegal. How do you know that when you go to a surgery? Because let's be honest, when you go to your GP, right, what is the first thing they do? They give you a bit of advice and you, probably 9 times out of 10, never question it. You think, oh, okay, I'll take these pills, as you said, and hopefully I'll get better in a week or two. But we don't know how qualified is. What does that word qualified mean? How far do we stretch? Should we see people's certificates and understandings? What do we do? 0207 501 1540. Have you ever had corrective eye surgery? Did it work? Did it not? Did you feel that really you wish you hadn't done it? Or are you absolutely happy with it? Or, you know, if you're an eye surgeon and you use, I think it's the laser, isn't it? A laser beam that sorts it out, or the instrument that uses it, laser, LASIK, whatever. You use it and you're confident about using it. Can you call me on 0207 501 1540 and tell me what the benefits are from it and why you're so confident about using it? My name is Deep Raja. This is Dilse, and you're tuned into Let's Talk. I will talk to you after a finance update. Good afternoon. Eye surgery. I'm going to take this up to about the news, and then from there we're going to move topics again. But what I want to know is what you think about the corrective eye surgery. I'm going straight to the phones. Brojan Chaudhary. Hello, Brojanji. What do you think?
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are a very lovely person, bringing so many things from the different corner of the society.
Thank you very much, sir. You're embarrassing me now. What would you like to say? What would you like to say?
I want to say, because I'm a poet,
yes.
You know, I has got a soul and lots of things. So you need eye exercise as well as keep out of from laptop and all these things as much as you could. And also go to the green and do the mingle your eyesights and everything.
Okay.
In the park side.
So then let me ask you this, Brojanji. Do you wear glasses? Earlier on about corrective eye surgery, and I was speaking to Sasha Rodoy about this, who'd set up a campaign because she'd gone in to a local high street store, I think, and happily paid her money to get some corrective eye surgery done so she didn't have to wear glasses anymore. But unfortunately, that went completely wrong. And what she realised when she dug deeper in it, that she wasn't the only person that this is happening to, and that the surgery itself and the rules behind it are not regulated as well as they could be. So I'm asking you, and I'm going to run this for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm moving on to another story. So get your calls in now, 0207 501 1540. Have you ever had corrective eye surgery? Have you ever thought about having it? What was it like if you had it done? And if something went wrong, can you tell me what went wrong? And what advice would you give anybody who's perhaps thinking or contemplating of getting it done now? Would you suggest they still do it or not? 0207 501 1540. Also, the other quick key on this is, do you believe that when it comes to these laser eye surgery things, I mean, it's quite shocking that you can walk down a high street and literally think, feel like having an operation today, I want to get rid of these glasses. You can actually do that. And yet the industry to allow this to happen is not regulated enough. So, in effect, it's a bit like shopping for an operation off a shelf. That makes you think, doesn't it? And do you think that really we're becoming more and more like America in that sense? And really surgery is becoming more of a business and more of a money-making opportunity rather than our amazing NHS, which always looked at the patient's needs first rather than how much money it's going to cost. Give me a ring and tell me your thoughts about this. 0207 501 1540. Corrective eye surgery. I think they use a laser or a LASIK. Whatever the situation is, I would like to know from you if you've ever had that done. And if you have had it done, what happened? Did it work out? Have you not looked back and just carried on with life? Or are you one of those people that really, really, if you could sort of turn the clock back, as they say, wouldn't do it again? 0207 501 1540. Let's go to the phone lines. Who's calling me on Dilse? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, it's Craig.
Hello, Craig. What can I do for you?
Basically, I had laser eye surgery.
Right.
And I've actually had 6 follow-up operations since on the high street.
Right.
Basically, my eyesight is totally and utterly horrendous. I can't say too much because I'm going through litigation. The point I want to make is regarding the GMC, and I heard Sasha Rodoy mention about the GMC. After first-hand experience with them, and this should be something that the government really do look into, the GMC is actually funded by the doctors who they're investigating. And most people don't know that. And the same with the Royal College of Ophthalmic Surgeons. They're actually funded by the members. And that's the reason why things are not being done and things are going wrong.
So what you're saying is that if the GMC, which is like is like the body for doctors, isn't it? That's correct. Yeah.
They
only look at doctors who pay them. Is that right?
No, but basically, all doctors have to be registered in the UK with the General Medical Council, the GMC.
Yes.
But the GMC is not funded by the government. The GMC is funded by the doctors who are registered to be registered, basically to actually be a doctor.
So. But that's a bit ironic because if you are registered, if you have to pay a registration fee to be part of the GMC are the ones that can actually strike a doctor off or not, right?
Yes, on very, very rare occasions.
So if that is the case, then is that not a government sort of regulated body?
No, it's not regulated. That's the actual point. That basically the GMC, I don't know who regulates the GMC, as in who they answer to. Yeah. But from my experience with them, I can't go into details at the moment. But basically, they can do what they consider to be unsatisfactory surgery or treatment. They have different scales. Now, with your eyes, if something's unsatisfactory, it doesn't matter whether it's a low grade, a serious grade, or whatever. You have a problem with your eyes.
So, okay, I'm just trying to get back to this point. So, if a doctor's struck off from the GMC, he or she, in effect, doesn't have to listen to them and can carry on practicing. Is that right?
Well, no. He or she is then not allowed to, basically, to actually be a doctor in the country, you have to be registered with the General Medical Council.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And if they don't want to keep your registration, then, in effect, you're not a doctor in this country.
That's correct.
So then,
that's my understanding of it.
So then, are those people the ones who are doing some of these illegal surgeries? Is it?
I actually don't know anything about the illegal surgery side of it. I have read on the internet different things, but for my side of it, surgeons, and I've had 3 surgeons operate on me 7 times. Like I say, I had laser surgery at LASIK in 2007, and I've had 4 lens exchange procedures performed to try and rectify the mess of the laser, and that's made my eyesight even worse with the actual lens replacement. And basically the GMC saying yes, there has been faults, and but they've not done anything to the doctors.
How are your eyes now then?
Absolutely atrocious. I can't drive in the evenings. I have starburst halos. Now, part of the surgery that I had with the lens exchange created what's basically like a tunnel vision. And it's basically like a black arc that's on the outsides of your eyes. You obviously don't see it from the outside, you looking at me. Yeah. But when I look at things, if I get some different types of light shining into my face, it creates a black arc and creates tunnel vision. Now, when that happened, I was told that was a very, very rare case. It's 1 in a million type case thing. And since, after doing research, it's actually not. But there is no cure for that now, apart from possibly taking the lens out of your eye, which would involve more surgery. Now, I've seen 2 professors and numerous consultants, and basically now there's nobody willing to take that chance.
Dear me. Craig, thank you very, very much indeed for coming on to Dilse, and thanks for explaining that. Oh my gosh, I wish you best. Who's calling me on Dilse? Good afternoon.
Oh, hello. Are you taking calls about eye surgery?
I am, yeah. You're live on the air. What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Shabir.
Shabir, what would you like to say?
So sorry?
What would you like to say?
Well, I would like to say that I had my eyes operated on by this company called...
Don't use the name. Please don't use the name. Don't advertise.
A high street company.
Yeah.
Which used to... well, they still do. They sell glasses and so on. I walked in there to have my eyes tested, perhaps replace my glasses, and they kind of got me in to say maybe I need to look at this new technique where you don't have to wear glasses anymore.
Right.
And they said, what we'll do is it's a small procedure where you get sight comparable to your glasses, but you never wear glasses again, and you never get cataract.
So what happened? Did you? What was the outcome?
Well, the outcome was I unfortunately did fall for the sales patter, and all the assurances I accepted, paid quite a lot of money. I had my eyes operated upon, and for 2 years I suffered terribly. A trauma of losing my sight. I couldn't see any more than about a foot. Clarity was all gone. Long distance was all blurred.
Gosh.
You probably heard people have what's called starburst and halos.
That's right. That's what we were discussing.
Shadows,
yeah.
Astigmatism. And on top of that, it's not just the vision you lose, it's also your self-confidence you lose. I've suffered depression and anxiety, unable to drive at night. The other thing is your ability to operate in your own home when people can you can walk from bedroom to bathroom in a sort of limited light. That all went because your perception of, the surfaces and so on changes. Your ordinary light becomes even darker. And it's a terrible situation. They can do nothing about it.
So can I just... Sorry, carry on. Yeah, finish your sentence. You were saying
they lied from the beginning to the end, and once the surgery is done, you're on your own. There's nothing they can do.
What for example, if I can ask you, what made you do that? What made you do that procedure? Was it there? Will you tell me? Why did you end up doing that? Because you said to me you went in. Yeah.
Yeah, I wore glasses which are not too bad. It was very focal. They're called. I couldn't, I could read, but to read with clarity, I was using glasses. And to see distance, I could see, but with clarity, I was using glasses. So I had what's called low prescription, very focal glasses. And they used to sort of bother me on my bridge of my nose.
So that's what made you do it? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, but when they used to bother me on the bridge of my nose, and when they said to me that I can do away with all of that, and then I thought, maybe it's worth considering because I'm actually a father to 2 severely disabled children. Both of them cannot see. So I valued I value my sight a great deal, and I told those people. And then what happens sometimes is I have to get up at night, maybe to medicate them or deal with some other problems. I always have to look for my glasses. Not always, but often, because I couldn't read the medicines or whatever. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I don't have to look for my glasses? Just simply walk away and,
So just I understand that, and that's very sad. And so, what excuse me, what's the situation now? Did you end up getting your money back, or did you complain? What happened?
I don't know what money back situation would be. They don't offer you any money back. I would actually pay them 10 times more than the money I paid to have my eyes restored.
Yeah.
In fact, 100 times more.
Naturally.
But this is not the issue about money at all.
No.
They're not going to pay anybody any money. They are in business of actually taking the money off you. I would happily give them that money if they didn't ruin me. If they told me, you're going to end up with this kind of damaged eyes, or you give me £4,500, I'll honestly have said, you know what, here's £4,500. I wasn't in for money. It was more the fact, my eyes. And at present, I've had another procedure done with National Health Service last week, which I don't know how it's going to go because it takes quite a long time for these things to settle. I'm hoping, I'm praying, and hoping that the outcome will be good, but I have no idea. But the long-term prognosis is it's downhill. What they have done is irreversible. And the reason for me calling over here is, and for people like Sasha, is that there's so many people who are hoodwinked into these false promises. And it's not the money that matters. No, it isn't money. It's actually the promise of a carefree vision. Instead, what they do is they ruin your lives.
Interesting point.
It's so distressing, it's so immoral, and it's so debilitating. And it's going to cost us as a community, because who's going to pick up National Health Service because they might have to fix people's eyes? They might pick up because people are going mad with depression and anxiety. Government has to pick up because they can't look after other people.
That's right.
So somebody else has to come along.
Oh, very good point. No,
it's terrible disaster.
Terrible. Exactly. Shabir, thank you very, very much for coming on and explaining that. And we really do wish you all the best. Thank you. 0207 501 1540. Corrective eye surgery. There's a lot of people out there who are angry. There are a lot of people out there who are frustrated. There are a lot of people out there who are upset with the government, with the system, with what's going on, because they feel that sometimes the proper information isn't given to you. So has that ever happened to you? Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt that perhaps if I'd known, I think they're saying is if I'd known then what I know now, I would never have got it done. That sounds like a traditional sort of saying, doesn't it? But really and truly, if we don't have the whole facts in front of us, we can end up subjected to real problems. Has that happened to you in terms of eye surgery? You can call me very briefly on 0207 501 1540. I'm actually going to move topics after this in a minute or two. So I want you to also have a think on this one. But more importantly, I think what I'm learning here from you all, and even from the callers here, is the problem is that people have a feeling that they've been, I wouldn't say conned, hoodwinked, I think is the word, isn't it, into doing this. They haven't really, they've been pushed into it to a large extent and didn't know the whole facts. But some people could actually turn around and say, well, you should do your research more. But again, to balance that sentence, well, how much research can you do if you can't find it in the first place? Or if you trust a doctor, or you trust a teacher, or you trust somebody, when you're in a power of position, isn't it, or responsibility, you tend to trust that person. And what's wrong with that? Well, after the break here, I'm going to move to another